So 407 was largely spent on Borksen and Morena, which was welcome for me. And other than that, it was just a couple frames with Borksen's friends at the procession, and then the entirety of the rest was a negotiation game being played between Borksen and Morena involving cards. Borksen has 5 cards, Morena has 7. Borksen has, yes, no, return, Joker, and the void card. Okay, yes, no, return, Joker, and the void card. Morena has the question A, question B, the power, motive, and what did I miss? Deal. Aim is the motive. Power is the ability. Question A, many questions. Question B, singular question that's more focused. Yes, no, and deal. Those are the cards. There we go. We effectively left off at the beginning of the game. There's nothing further to elaborate on in that. I'm excited to see how this thread continues. I hope it continues in this chapter. I'm eager to see. So let's just get into it. Chapter 408. You go first. Please pick a card. Let me turn the gate on. The gate is too high. Now it's not. All right. You go first. Please pick a card. Borksen reflects and points. Number 408. Negotiation part 2. Aim. Negotiation game begin. Is her pointing the start of an enemy? Whose perspective is this statement from? Number above K, I'm wrong. Thank you. I needed to change that. I was too amped to get into the chapter. I started acting stupid. The aim card. Why did you pick this one? What? Chit chat is allowed? Then I'll go for it. But there's no penalty, is there? Smart question. Of course. It's all right. We might as well get to know each other. Say, are there others? Maybe about 50 in all? Nice try. They're not going to talk. There are others, but no more questions. Use a card if there's something you want to ask. I picked aim to help me decide, obviously. Fine, I won't answer any more of your questions either. Aw, that's sad. All right, if you answer one question, you can ask me one question too. Thank you. So less than 50 of them. They didn't stiffen up and their response was quick. So my guess wasn't even close. Probably about half that. Oh yeah. This is what I'm here for. My goal is the destruction of Kakin. Once that's done, I'll keep trying until the destruction of all humanity. Hold on, I'm going to unfilter this. There we go. I decided to change it back. I need you to do that. Huh? That's not enough at all. If complete understanding is 100, I'm at a 3 right now. Oh, you're very curious. All right. I should probably start with my upbringing. Do you know of the second track fakers? Yes, the royals without succession rights, like you. Yes, the actual Morena Prudo, but I'm not even a royal. The real Morena is in a grave marked for me. What? Then who are you? The Carne Levare? And Lese Majest? Or Majesté? I don't know. That should give you an idea. You're a carnival orphan. Carne Levar. Literally, farewell to the flesh. A carnival where the Kakin royal family held once every few years. The royal family travels incognito to a randomly selected village and holds a feast. Every single villager is sorted on the spot as an entertainer or other. Let's say Majesty. An offense against the crown, punishable by death. Before modern times, crimes even included lower-ranking officials speaking frankly and civilians looking a royal in the face. Even in present-day post-democratization, contraception, abortion, and genetic testing of royals are considered treasonous acts against the prosperity of royal descendants and are immediately punishable by death. Ooh. Togashi's laying it on thick. Oh, let's get into the inhumanity of the politics, shall we? I see. I just actually put together how those two things go together. She didn't say it, but she said it. Sounds about Morena. Yep, here we go. My mother was forced to entertain the royals for several days without rest or sleep. She was unable to even be aware that she'd become pregnant or given birth to me, and finally died when I was 2 years old. All carnival orphans were scarred at birth and sent to an institution, a base of operations for a human trafficking organization, run by Hale Lee and affiliated with the underground hospital that treated the mothers. Here we were scientifically sorted into second-track fakers, or flesh. I was categorized as flesh. For the next 20 or so years as flesh, you get the idea. Okay, here we are. Recently, I was fortunate enough to become boss of Hale Lee. While I fulfilled my role as flesh, I discovered a certain talent of mine and honed it bit by bit. That's my ability, which served as a catalyst from which I came to plot Kakin's demise. Extreme circumstances will sometimes, extremely extreme in this case, will sometimes birth. That explains how she got such a strong net ability. Pardon me. Carne Levar. That's how I'm just going to assume it is. Carne Levar is held irregularly. Orphans are classified according to the last 2 digits of the Kakin calendar. I'm year 98. Over the 20 years before I became Hale Lee boss, there have been 7 batches of carnival children. The most recent batch of orphans is year 20, last year's, meaning the carnival was held 2 years ago, the year after the democratization commemoration celebration. Do you understand? Kakin hasn't changed at all, and it won't change, ever. This is the general framework from which my desire to destroy Kakin grew. I need people to help me achieve my goal, each with special abilities, and the one whose ability will fill the most critical role is you. That's why we invited you here, and why we're trying to recruit you. How do you know it's me? I can't answer that with this card. And that's it for this one. Okay, so 1 card in. Let's take a pause. That was a lot. 6 pages, that's it? That was a lot. Well, we understand now. We certainly understand now. And I mean, given the ideals that they all sort of share as a unit, this put Borksen in a tricky spot. We're not really inside her head, but I mean, she's being drawn with the kind eyes right now. And I mean, I've been rooting for them, and I've had a feeling they were sort of, ideally benevolent, you know? So this puts her in a tricky spot, I feel. Because it sounds compelling. But, well, I mean, it's kind of hard to approach. I was going to say there could be some, like, opposite of veneer on it, but it's kind of hard to make Morena's life sound any worse than it already sounded off the rip. So, let's go down the rabbit hole. Hums, shuffles. Okay. Please slide a card toward me and flip it over. Eye contact. The card picks one, card 2. And on the flip, Joker. The Joker. Yes and no are no different to me, so this card has practically no effect on me. Discard the Joker and pick the next card. The power card. Wow, you're asking about me twice in a row. I'm flattered. I'll try to explain as clearly as I can. Have you ever heard about Nen? Only recently. I don't know how much of what I've heard is right. It's basically a superpower, and is supposedly being used in the succession battle. That's correct, as a general understanding. I'm trying to figure out what Togashi's aim is with the characterization of Morena. Like, it seems like she's managed to compartmentalize that darkness, that anger, that malice into objective and still just express as herself, which is terrifying and dangerous. But okay, it's true, like a superpower, but anyone can learn it with training. There are also abilities that can awaken people to Nen. My ability includes that aspect, so you don't need to train a long time. I see. Then could you tell me what your ability is? Yes. To put simply, my ability is to give abilities to those with the same goal as me, and to spread that circle. I am the dealer, or mater, as it were, with a maximum of 22 players, or children. Once they earn enough points, they can also become a parent themselves and produce more children. Rather like a pyramid scheme. I listen to each of their goals, consider their attributes, and assist and support the development of their abilities. How cunning. Aim and ability. The structure of the explanation is such that no matter which is picked first, you want to hear the other. If I had picked ability first, she wouldn't go any further than this. To be honest, I don't want Kakin to cease to exist. Duty, responsibility, national defense, none of it means much to me. Oh? Each? Isn't it to destroy Kakin? I was going to float through the rest of the hopefully long life ahead of me. It's unnerving to have someone else's big ambition suddenly waltz in and mess all that up. I don't need it. We get Borksen info. I was in military school since before I can remember, and I was taught that my duty was defending the country's safety, as long as war doesn't break out during my lifetime, right? Fortunately, I was smart enough to squeak into officer training school. We had to risk our lives to listen to pop songs from rival countries. A few months after their release, but learning about the untouchable outside world was a normal part of our high school curriculum. We have the worst flood control in the world. Yet, we rank highest in manufacture of man-made particles that linger in the stratosphere. In information, processing, throughput, that's the kind of country I live in, but it's still home. All I wanted was to have a modest, ordinary life in my own little corner. Oh, probably somewhere in between military prep school instructor, in the boonies, and I don't know, secretary number 4 for the general affairs office, deputy director, holy shit, secretary number 4 for the general affairs office, deputy director at the National Defense Agency. I don't want any of this. Things turned iffy when Beyond or whoever pledged to go to the new continent. And now we're talking about superpowers and destroying humanity? She's flashing back to his ambition. Destroying Kakin is my own personal goal. I feel sorry for you. I really do. But even if I wanted someone in my life to go away, I've never considered murder as an option. The larger goal we have in common here is killing people in general, either directly or indirectly. We all have different reasons and circumstances, targets and quotas. Those are our own small goals. I'm glad I found out that you're an honest person, and that I can't relate at all to your goals with this information. The superpower is greatly affected by personality and state of mind. I have to get out of this extraordinary mess no matter what. Thought, what if she's put in such a situation to where she realizes her only way out is to manufacture this power and kill Morena? You just said personality affects superpowers. How do you know that my ability, that I don't even have yet, is important when you hardly know me? You can hide behind the rhetoric that everyone is special. Isn't that a negotiation tactic to make me think I'm special? You are a specialist. Dogman. Nen abilities are classified into 6 types. Yours is very rare among them. One of my people is an enhancer. He enhanced his sense of smell and gained the ability to sniff out abilities. He's currently at the level where he can identify a person's type just from the faint aura they emit before they awaken to Nen. Even now, he's searching for people like you, specialists, before they know Nen. It may not be accurate, as it's from my own research, but I think the occurrence of specialists is about 1 in 3,000 people. It's a 0.03% chance as a... No, 0.3% chance. No. Because 0.1 would be... 1% would be 100. 0.1 would be... Yeah, 0.03. 0.03 repeating percent chance to be a specialist. Crazy. Yeah, look at how small that is. Why didn't I just look up at the fucking chart? I'm a fucking idiot. Anyway, let's see. Enhancer's most common. Conjurer, manipulator. The closer to specialist they get, the rarer they are. So, but there's a slant. So all the way opposite specialist is enhancer, right? On the Nen hexagon. There's a slant towards emitter as opposed to transmuter, which is interesting. Because while we have 6 types, more than 50% of Nen users are made up of 2 of them. Specialist is so rare. It's comparatively rare to be sure, but there could well be 50 to 60 more of them aboard this ship. It would be best if we can find someone with the larger goal in common. It doesn't have to be you in particular. That face. In fact, he's already come across a few specialists who know Nen already. Yeah, like fucking Krollo. He was quite excited that one of them was a floor master of the Heavens Arena, super famous among the MMA crowd. Don't run in him, dogman, you don't want it. Or do run in it. That's what I mean by your risk increases the longer this takes. That's it for explaining abilities. I want to hear a bit more about specialists, specifically about what kind of ability you'd have me acquire. That's closely related to the yes and no cards. I'll explain about specialists. Put very simply, it's just very, very useful. Well, yeah, because you can do whatever, right? There are some practical limitations. Here, I'm going to move the manga over to my main monitor. There are some practical limitations. Oh, I went back a page. Why? For the other types, transmuters, for example, have a hard time learning manipulative abilities, but specialists have none of that. If there were any negatives at all, it's that they might not realize they're specialists, focus on another type, and regret it later. This can and does happen. So if you know what you are beforehand, you can try learning a really unique ability that doesn't belong to any type, or a hybrid ability that would usually require training in multiple types to an advanced level. Like Kurapika. As a side note, or Krollo for that matter. As a side note, I'm also a specialist. Duh. My ability is quite unique. Join me in learning and improving Nen abilities based on points. How convenient. An advanced hybrid of all 5 types, it seems. So of course, I have a specific request pertaining to your ability. But that's more for this card over here, so I can't say anything else. I'm sorry. Oh, so that's if she says yes and if she says no. That's why it's a question. Yes? Like, if I say yes, what will that get me? No? What? Okay. Got it. If you pick the yes card, I'll tell you what kind of ability I'd want you to learn if you choose to join us. It's part of the discussion of what role you'd be expected to have once you join our team, rather than a question on Nen abilities. Understood. Sorry, I need to scroll more for you guys. Got it? Yes. No matter which card I pick next from the 4 remaining, it doesn't change my number of options. It seems like she'd still answer questions a bit on cards, even after they get sent to the graveyard, besides the question A card. The more information I have, the better, but the timer she mentioned also comes into play. Whether I prolong this game or not can be decided once my options become limited. Yes. Oh dear, that's too bad. The second card and you're already not joining us? The others are also disappointed. This tells me, at least, that they haven't witnessed any cheating in the past. But don't be optimistic. Have they even played this game before with someone who doesn't want to join them? If I'm the first, of course they'd react that way. Oh well. I'll do my best until the very end. No and X are very different, after all. Do you want to know how? Well, sure, I'll oblige. I'll pick the no card. Okay, I'll explain what happens if the no card is the last to remain. The essential part is the difference. No means you won't join us, whereas X voids the game itself. We consider no as a firm expression of your will, a complete and irrevocable rejection. Here it comes. Yes and no are basically the same. This is the time to persuade. Threaten me until I think yes is the only option between yes and no. I'll take it to mean you and those around you will not be one of us. You'll be classified as other, simply points for us to accrue in order to level up and attain our goal. We won't try to recruit you again, however. We can't have you leave after you know our secrets. Yeah, it's prison. And there it is. Doesn't that basically mean even the X card is pointless? Not if they can wipe memories. The third trap. That this game itself is all a trap. To make me say yes. The limitless malice is back. And the cards over the top of it. It's kind of like a Greed Island juxtaposition here. Not to compare them, but to contrast them. Because in this case, the game is evil, whereas a lot of time in Greed Island, it was just the people. If the X card remains, it would still be the same, that you know our secrets, but that too will be included in voiding of the game. That doesn't mean we'd erase your memory. We'll trust you and pretend that none of this happened, and we'll try not to make any contact with you if at all possible. She liked that reaction when she thought about the memory erasing thing. So does the X card come with a vow to not speak? She said trust, but is it really? We'll see. Not to mention there'll be no cheating by twisting that none of it happened into pulling a, hey, we've never met, have we? Let's play a game. We'll also try not to involve anybody around you. Specifically, we'd go over the information we learn and the people you care about, share that info among us, and avoid those people. Although considering our ultimate goal, the more correct expression would be, put them off until later. To save time, I need to ask outright. The X card not only has no merits for you, but the risks to you are high. I can't believe that you trust me under these circumstances either. Can you explain how this makes sense for you so that I'd understand? Oh good. I was about to explain. It's actually a long story, but the merits are precisely that it's very risky. Bro, I hope people appreciate this chapter for what it is, because it's going to be called the Yapathon. It's going to be called the Yapathon. Right? But this is unstoppable still. I see. Vows and limitations. High risk, high return. It's a very important component in NEN. If the negotiations fail in a game of life or death, well, that's it. Even if that comes at great risk, I must accept the outcome. By playing the game that way, my ability can more strongly support my team. It's the same for those who join. By taking on the risk that you die if no is your last card, the effects of my ability and the resulting team unity become stronger. That didn't upset you much. Wonderful. The tension here is so fire. So fire. Well, I knew it was coming, and I guess it doesn't feel real yet. Oh, it'll feel quite real when you're down to 2 cards. Go on. Now, the cards I have left are no, death, and return, survival. Special martial law. Special martial law has been declared. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill. What happened? Okay. So this will be much quicker than the previous chapter because the information we have to go over, besides the martial law declaration, which, I mean, would it have come from Benjamin or would it have come from the king himself? Probably Benjamin. The king doesn't appear to be interfering too much. But I'll just keep that bookended, like on the back end, in case, you know, things went left here and maybe it was him. I would imagine those are the only 2 parties with the ability to do so. So we have special martial law. That's the first thing you have to determine there. Who did it? There's only 2 answers, and there's only 2 motivations. Nasubi's motivation would be if somebody got too cheeky and things went too left outside of the boundaries or threatened the boundaries of completing the succession ritual. Or Benjamin in the event that he wanted a leg up or something bad had happened within his camp. That's that. With all the tendrils of Beyond's influence here, there could also be an angle that has something to do with him. It's been focused on Benjamin. It could very easily be Benjamin, but it would be something very like this story to just dangle Benjamin in front of us like that and have it be unrelated entirely. So I just want to consider that. Borksen. Borksen's in a spot. Borksen just wanted to chill. That's not gonna happen, Borksen. She's a specialist. We got confirmation that Dogman's the one able to pick that out. And boy also almost had a run-in with Crollo. But I think it's interesting that they only know him as a floor master. I think that's interesting. Let me see if there's a big difference here in the official. Oh, the one I have is the official. Bro, the official is grave. Let me see. Go to Twitter real quick. Where is... Damn, somebody sent me with the best... There we go. Found it. Thank the Lord. All right. Voracious drakes. Morena's all right. Anyway, we'll just finish summarizing the chapter now because it looks pretty much the same. Morena's life is crazy from birth to now. The whole thing until becoming the boss. I'm wondering how she became that. And you know, the way her life is and the things she knows, because she probably knows about the previous Haley dealings, which probably includes the person that had something to do with Sarasa, the tattoo artist, right? There could be an angle where she can make an ally of the troop to a degree, because their aims are different, but their backgrounds are very similar of sorts, just expendable. Now, Morena got the worst end of the stick on that one, right? But in general, their backgrounds, with the lack of humanity they were afforded, are very similar. So there's an angle there. There's really not too much else to encapsulate here. We got the aim. We have a great understanding for the aim because it's informed by context. And the ability was pretty much what we knew it to be. We now know Borksen's a specialist. And there's a special martial law. And return is survival. That's pretty much the chapter, no? Let me go back to 407. Let me get the explanation of return explicitly. Retrieve the card of your choice, the X. So here's how I see this playing out. The no card's gonna go next, but there will be some hesitancy to choose her response. Because whatever information she's going to find out next, there's no way this doesn't shake out interestingly. And I love the focus on it here. Like immediately after we pan to Crollo and his internal conflict and a bunch of other developments on the entire other side of the ship, we go from that to Borksen and Morena for multiple chapters. And it's so skillful to use Borksen as a complement to flesh out Morena, because just as a writer, right? Like I don't want to get too analytical on that because I'm not even qualified, but I can point out what I find so heady about this. So we need some tethers after we establish the immediate premise of the friendship troop that they knew Sari. Okay, you've piqued our interest. Now hold our interest. And they give us that dialogue with Otosine. Like Borksen and Otosine are clearly going to be the focus amongst those people. And once we get that information, then okay, the last thing they want to happen, let's tie them directly to that. And this antagonist that's just been this mysterious figure in the background, let's use their figurehead, one of the two, as a means to tether to this character and also flesh this character out. So I told y'all invest in stocks. I told you the price goes up every day. And I'm satisfied. I hope you guys are satisfied with this chapter. Like, comment, subscribe. If you like the reactions, there's going to be other stuff here soon. That's all I really got to say. Have a good day. We wait for next week. And we vibe.